Hi, Facebook. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? I am good. Today, I want to talk about um, following your instincts. This is for really married couples or people that have been in relationships. Um, it could be for a woman or a man, doesn't matter, because we know nowadays either or, you know, uh, either or. Spouses or boyfriend or girlfriend will cheat. Could be the wife, could be the husband. Um, I've gotten a few calls. I've gotten a few conversations about people following their instinct, regardless of how long they've been with somebody, regardless of how much they trust somebody, regardless of how much that person maybe never gave you a reason to doubt them or not have trust in them. So I want to talk about, people in relationships following their instinct when it comes to their spouse, their significant other. Um, God gave us a natural instinct. Some of us have gifts to see things before they happen, whether we feel it, we dream it, we actually see it in a vision. Um, some of us are very strong with vibes, just feeling the energy. Um, maybe not even knowing exactly what it is, but you feel it like, okay, something ain't right. Something's not sitting right with me about this person, about my spouse. And I'm specifically speaking about spouses because that's what I'm getting a lot of calls from and, about, or prayer requests. Um, People have called me to pray or to vent and say, hey, can you go to God about this for me? Um, I had a particular conversation this morning with a woman, and she's been with her husband for 15 years, uh, married for 10, been with him for 15 years. And she was saying how little things about him just started to change. Little things. His behavior, the way he courts her, the way he usually handles her, like as far as affection and stuff. She said it, started changing. So she didn't really think much of it. Okay. Um, she said he's always been the type to leave the phone around her. Like if he gets up and goes to the bathroom, he leaves the phone, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And then slowly but surely, he started to change. But she said that something before he even started doing that, it was something that just didn't sit right with her about her husband. And she thought, oh, maybe I'm just bugging out. She said, but slowly but surely, he wasn't as affectionate as he used to be. Um, all of a sudden is, if he gets up and goes to the bathroom, he leaves the phone somewhere, his cell phone somewhere around her. It's not a problem. All of a sudden is he always has his phone in his pockets now, or he wherever he goes, he takes his phone. And um, then all of a sudden he has a code on the phone that he didn't let her know about. And I know some females, even some men, they're crazy. They like to go through their partner's phone just to make sure, just to make sure. You can never just make sure that somebody's not doing something to you, because if they want to hide it, they're going to hide it. But if you know that you're the type of person that you're not constantly going through your partner's phone, your spouse's phone, or you're not jealous. You're not like, oh, who's this and who's that and who's blah 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 or whatever. And all of a sudden you get this instinct feeling, this gut feeling. So look through that phone, or there's something about this person that is not sitting right with you. And again, I'm speaking about your own spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. All of a sudden something's not sitting right with you about that person. You better listen to that. Like I said, God gave us all gifts, but what he gave us is natural instinct. And I am urging y'all to please trust it. Okay? Once a spouse, whether it's a woman or a man, starts acting different towards you, and then they start like the phone, that's a big red flag. That's an obvious red flag. You don't have to even look for nothing. Right there, that's telling you this person is hiding something from you. And again, this ain't even a friend. This is a person that you lay down with every day. This is a person that you share your most personal parts with, your body. You're having unprotected sex with this person. It doesn't get more personal than that. They live in your house with you. They lay in your bed with you, right? You're sharing bills together or whatever it is. You're sharing your life with this person. Nothing should be a secret. Nothing should be kept from you. The second this person starts keeping things from you, the second this person all of a sudden wants a certain type of privacy. Oh, it's my phone, and it's my privacy. Sir or ma'am, I'm giving you my body raw every night or every other night. I'm sharing my life with you. Should nothing be private, especially if y'all are married, legal, spiritual, and binding. Nothing should be private. So the second this person starts doing things like this, don't sit here and say, oh, maybe that. No, 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 no. Don't take it lightly. Take it personal. Argue with them? No, you don't have to argue with them. Watch them. Because people can easily tell you that they love you, or I'll be faithful to you, or I'm this and I don't play about my marriage and I don't play. People will tell you anything. And this is for Christians as well, because a lot of Christian women feel like, oh, well, my husband's a Christian. And listen, the flesh is the flesh. The flesh will act out no matter if they're in church, if they're in Christ, or in the world. Because I know men that are in the world that don't go to church and they are wonderful, straight up husbands to their wife, and vice versa. And I've known of men that are Christians, that are pastors, that have been horrible to their wives or their husbands. So this is for Christian women. This is for Christian men as well, not just anybody in general. The second somebody starts acting like they want to keep something from you and you have been sharing your life with this person, that right there is telling you they're doing something. You don't even have to go through their phone to see it. The second I claim that I love you and I want to and I share my life with you and I'm this to you and I'm good to you and I'm blah 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 blah. I could be the best wife to you. I could be this. I could be that. Anybody can tell you anything. Stop going by what people say to you. Watch them. Watch their actions. Watch how they move. Watch how they go about certain things and certain people. And yes, nobody's perfect. Not everybody knows how to love. That's a thing. Not everybody knows how to court their wife or their husband. Not everybody knows how to set even boundaries, good boundaries. Not everybody knows how to protect their marriage. Some people think it's okay to be telling people their business and just doing anything and having people over all the time and having people in their personal business all the time. And it's not good to have people in your house all the time, especially when you're married. It's not good to be telling people your business. We all know that. Even worldly people know that. Right? It's not good to entertain people that you know have feelings for you or want to sleep with you or lust after you when you are married or in a relationship. That's disrespectful. I, for one, I don't entertain none of that because for some reason I attract crazy people. I attract crazy men. So I don't entertain it at all. I nip it in the bud quickly. I don't care how cool we are. I don't care how long we've been friends. Once you start talking that, oh, I always wanted to be with you and, I always felt like blah, 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 and you know that I'm married and you start talking to me like that, I cut you off quick. Rightfully so, to respect my marriage. I'm not going to stay friends with somebody that I know is lusting after me or that I might have even lusted after at one point. Let's be real. Right? I can leave my phone around my husband anytime. He can pick it up whenever. But more than likely, he won't do it because he's not that type of person. just like me. I'm not the type of person to just be picking up phones and looking or whatever, because I know for sure that anytime God wants me to know something, God's gonna come to me and he's gonna tell me. He's gonna show it to me in a dream. He's gonna put it in my instinct. He's gonna give me a vision. He's gonna show it to me so crystal clear that, listen, better than watching a movie. I urge women and men that are in these relationships with these people that claim that are so wonderful to you and that they respect you and that they have the utmost respect for you and blah 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 and da 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 da. Trust your instinct, because this woman has never been she said she's never had the urge to go through her husband's phone, and she said the other day something told her. I said that was God. This man is a church going man. He's a Christian. He's been in church his whole life. That doesn't stop these men from sinning. That doesn't stop temptation from coming. That does not stop that Balaam and Jezebel spirit from attaching itself to them or attacking them. That does not stop the flesh from acting up just because they go to church and because they're Christian. But she said that something told her to look at his phone. And then she said she looked at it and she's like, okay. And then she tried to, like, swipe to open it, and she couldn't do it. All of a sudden, this man that she's been with for 15 years had a code. Never had a code on his phone any other time. All of a sudden, he has a code. And so when she asked him about it, he became belligerent. He became ignorant. He attacked her character. Oh, here we go. You're being insecure. You're crazy. And she's like, what do you mean I'm crazy? She said, why all of a sudden you have a security on your phone? What do you have in your phone that you don't want me to see? Because let's be mindful, he never even offered to give her the code. He never said, oh, well, here's the code. Yeah, I got a code on my phone now. Here's the code. He would not give her the code. He refused to give her the code. So she's like, she called me the other day and she told me about it. And I said, well, right there and then he's telling it. He doesn't have to confess to you. He's telling you he's doing something he's not supposed to. There is something in that phone that he doesn't want you to see. And more than likely, it's something that's going to end your marriage. So we talked for a long time, and and I spoke to her, and I confirmed to her, like, absolutely there's something going on. I said, and that's another big red flag. When you approach your spouse about something and they start calling you crazy and you're insecure, gaslighting you, that stuff is real. And they start gaslighting you because you ask simple questions that you should know, because you're my husband, because you do belong to me, we do belong together, we are together, spiritual and legal. You start attacking my character because I have questions about your phone having a code. Or if I'm asking you specific questions about a certain person in your life. Do not let these people deceive you. I don't care how long you've been with them. Go to God about your spouse. You don't just go to God about your spouse when you first meet and say, oh, is this the person I'm supposed to marry? Go to God about your spouse throughout your whole entire marriage. Some people show their colors sooner than others, but they show their colors. Some are good at hiding things, very good, and some aren't. Sometimes people even tell on themselves. But I urge y'all to please go to God about your spouse every single day. Pray for them. Pray that God cover them. Pray for that God keeps them. But also ask God, what is inside of this person for me? Because, there's a question that I would ask certain men that I've came across in my life. Because, they'll promise to take care of you. They'll promise to protect you from people. But I always ask them, well, would you protect me from yourself? And they always stay quiet. What do you mean? Well, if you ended up with bad intentions towards me or around me, could you protect me from yourself? Could you love me enough to be like, you know what? I'm not doing this because this is going to hurt my girl. Or this is going to hurt my wife. I'm not doing this. Ask the people that claim love you that question. whether it's a woman or a man. Ask them and see what their answer is. But again, I urge people to please follow your instinct about the person you're with. I don't care how good they've been to you. Once that instinct starts roaring and talking and pushing and pinning, you better pay attention to your instinct. Because the stuff that this lady eventually found in this man's phone was extremely disturbing. How did she get in his phone? She had to be sneaky. Now she had to be sneaky because of his reaction and the way he spoke to her when she simply asked him, "Why do you have a code on your phone?" And you're married to somebody you shouldn't have. And if you do have a code on your phone, give your spouse that code. If you really love them, if you really are one, right, to become one. If you really are open with your spouse about everything, to become one, give your spouse the code. Unless you're working for the FBI or the CIA or the DEA, you have no business having a code on your phone and not letting your spouse know what the code is. My heart goes out to this woman because the things that were found in that phone, like I said, were extremely disturbing. Extremely disturbing. So I urge everybody that when your instinct starts talking to you, even about that loved one, that spouse, that husband that's been the perfect spouse for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 6 months, even if they never gave you a reason to question them before, once your instinct starts to kick in about this person, I urge you to follow it. I urge you to get on your hands and knees and go to God about this person, because that instinct is bothering you for a reason. Unless you have mental issues, and unless if you have trust issues, then, which is a lot of people nowadays, then you probably shouldn't even be in a relationship. You probably should let it go. If you can't trust God about this person at least, then there's really no need for you to be with this person. But however, don't be fooled either. People talk good game. People will listen. Some people can sound like angels when they talking to you. That's why you have to be careful about who you allow speak into your life. Some people sound like straight angels and be the total opposite. The total opposite. Some people talk good game. So I urge you women and men, married folks especially, when your instincts start to kick in about your spouse, please go to God about it and ask God to show you. Pray about it and ask God to show you what is going on with this person. You don't want to find out when it's too late. You don't want to find out when you have a STD that you can't get rid of or that there's no name for. You don't want to find out when HIV has attached itself and entered your body, or AIDS. I know women that have left beautiful children behind because they chose to trust a man because of what he said to them, even though his actions were showing them something different. Dead. Okay? They had to leave beautiful grandchildren behind because they chose to trust their husband. And the same thing goes for some men. Some men have gotten killed because they trusted. They chose to trust what this person was saying and ignore the red flags in their action. There are men who are dead right now because they chose to trust a woman's words over their actions. They chose to ignore that instinct in them that told them, don't trust this person. The Bible says that the heart is deceitful. You can love somebody. That's not good for you. And even if this person been good to you for a long time, doesn't mean that they can't switch up or they won't switch up, because they do and they will. So please go to your spouse go to God about your spouse. This girl that I spoke with this morning, I prayed for a long time and I feel so bad for her. She's so distraught. Now she's, she was paranoid. Now she was, when I spoke to her, she was afraid for her health. She didn't even want to call her doctor and make doctor's appointment because she's afraid of what she might have and don't even know she had because of what she saw in this man's phone. And he never gave her the code. She got in through his phone because one of her children knows how to break codes and do all type of technical stuff. And these new kids, these kids are good with computers and breaking down codes and getting into people's, having access into people's things. One of her children said, "Ma, do you want me to go into his phone, because I can do that?" Because why wouldn't he want you to have his code? You're his wife. Her instinct was so on point that she allowed the child to break the code, but didn't actually even go in the phone until the child left, because she just knew that what was going to be in that phone, it was not going to be good, and she didn't want to break down in front of her own child. Marriage is supposed to be beautiful, and marriage can be beautiful if the two people want the same thing and are going to go about it the same way. Especially you holy, righteous Christians. If you know that you really don't want to be faithful, you're better off getting a divorce and go about your business instead of putting your spouse through hell. Hell. With some of the things that y'all chose to do. The flesh is disgusting. The flesh is something serious. Woman, stop thinking that because your man's a Christian, he's not going to go out there and get tempted. Don't think that that flesh ain't going to rise one day. Don't think that, some woman ain't going to flirt with him and he ain't going to go for it. It takes an extremely disciplined and in love man not to fall for this, because women flirt with everybody and their mother now. Most women nowadays, unfortunately, have no morals. They will flirt with whoever. They will get in a man's face in a heartbeat. They don't care that he's married. And you will see that right in the church. Even more in the world. People like sleeping with people's spouses. And this goes for men too. Men will flirt with a married woman in a heartbeat. I don't entertain none of that. As soon as a man starts flirting, once I tell a man that I'm married and he's still trying to, I nip it in the bud. We're not doing this. Men should not, women or men that are married or in a relationship, you have no business entertaining anybody that you know is attracted to you. And you know that they're attracted to you because they don't waste no time telling you. They'll flirt with you out in the open. They don't care. We need to stop saying that cheating is a mistake. Cheating is not a mistake. It's a whole process through it. Words and all types of different communications have to go through. Numbers have to be exchanged. Flirting, talking nasty, sexting, texting, calling, telling each other what you want to do and how you want to do it. It's a whole process. Stop making excuses. Cheating, adultery is not a mistake. You know what you're doing, and you don't care when you're doing it because you're not thinking about your spouse. Because if you was, you wouldn't be doing it. And if adultery and cheating and temptation has that much of a stronghold over you, you need to be divorced and you need to be single so you can do all the fornicating you want in the world. Men, women, husbands, and wife, please Listen to your instinct. Please go to God about your spouse. You go to God about your spouse. It's okay when the church mother, comes up to you and encourages you to stay with your husband. It's a beautiful thing when you don't tell nobody your business and God will send you that person to speak to you about your marriage, right? Because you know that was God. That's all good and dandy, right? It's all good and dandy. But go to God yourself. Get on your hands and knees about that person you married every day. Every day. And especially when that gut instinct starts to talk to you about that person. Because once somebody starts operating in the flesh, once somebody wants to cheat, honey, nothing can stop them. Only them. Only them. And if they don't want to be stopped, if they want to pursue what they started, they're going to do it to the fullest. Nowhere near thinking about you. Nowhere near thinking about their family. Nowhere considering the pain that they will cause you behind this action that they chose. Like my OG Ark always told me, the devil can't tempt you with something you don't want. If you don't want it, the devil can't tempt you with it. The devil could never tempt me with drugs because I don't do drugs. I don't want drugs. Right? He can only tempt me with something I want or like. Married people, Christian, no Christian, guess what? Go to God. Go to God, go to God, go to God, go to God about your spouse. Go to God about whatever's going on in your relationship. Go to God about whatever instinct or bad feelings you're having about your spouse. Go to God. Like I said, it's all good and dandy when church folks can encourage you, right? But I've seen church folks encourage women to stay in relationships where they were being physically abused, damn near beaten to death. I've seen that with my own two eyes. I've seen church people encourage women to stay in abusive relationships where arms were broken. They had to get staples in the back of their head. Their children were being molested and abused. So it's all good and dandy when the church can encourage you in your marriage. But you better seek God for it. Seek God for that husband, seek God for that wife, and see what he tells you. Because God is not a liar. He will not lie to you. He will show you the truth and he will tell you what to do and how to do it, and he will guide you through it. So on whether you choose to stay or leave, after God shows you what he shows you, he's still going to guide you through it. Like I said, it's all good and dandy. She called me. I was more than happy to pray with her. I was more than happy to talk to her. You know what I mean? But I told her, when we hang up, you need to go to God for yourself about this situation. Don't let no man fool you. Words are words. Words are words. But action shows. Action will show you everything you need to know. I don't care how much somebody tells you they love you and they appreciate you and they will give you, they'll go to the end of the world for you, and and they so righteous with it too. They'll sound righteous with it, and some people will even give you scriptures behind it, what they're telling you. But watch their actions. Watch their actions. Watch their actions. Follow your instincts about your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Should nothing be private? Once you are giving your body to this person unprotected, once you're sharing your life with this person, should nothing be private? You want a code on your phone? All right, put a code on. That person should be saying, hey, babe, I put a code on my phone. This is the code if you ever need to use my phone. But when they put a code on and they're not giving you that code, they're hiding something from you. 99% of the time, they're hiding adultery. Like, don't be fooled. Don't let them sit there and tell you, oh, well, I just need some privacy. Really? You need privacy? Mm. You need privacy after us sharing our life together and me giving my body to you? Me being in a predicament with you where you can come back and give me something that can kill me, hurt me? You need privacy from me? No. And some couples are fine with that. Some couples, they're okay with being in a marriage where he has clothes on his phone, she has clothes on her phone, and they don't, that's my private life. Oh, okay. If you both agree to it, fine. But once that instinct starts to kick in, you better. Because I know a couple like that too. She's like, oh, my husband got his own code and I got my own code and we don't bother each other. Da, 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 da. And not even within a year of her saying that to me, her instinct started going about her husband, okay? And she had to get his phone cracked into professionally. And this man had children porn in his phone. Little babies, not even teenagers. 3 and 2-year-old porn in his phone. Trust your instinct always, even over somebody that claims they love you. Even if they've been good to you for 20, 30 years. Once your instinct starts to kick in about somebody, you trust that instinct. And you better trust it all the way. And go to God about it. Go to God. With that being said, Facebook, y'all have a blessed day. And I pray that you do go to God about your spouse every day, not just when you feel like it. Go to them every day because you don't know what they're facing. You don't know what's tempting them. You don't know what secretly they might have going on that you didn't pick up in the spirit realm before. And it doesn't matter if you're a prophetess or have gifts to see things. Sometimes things just go over our head. Sometimes we get so caught up with life that we're not paying attention to certain things. It's like parents. I know people that are sharp. And their kids are just now coming and telling them, Ma, dad was abusing me when I was a kid. And the mother had no clue because the child showed no signs of being abused by their dad or the mother's boyfriend or the father's girlfriend. Because the same way God can show you things, that devil will blind you. Believe it or not. That devil will blind you. So trust your instincts no matter what, whether it comes to your children, your spouse, but I'm really speaking on spouses because this is what I keep coming into. I keep coming across conversations and prayer requests about spouses. Them switching up out of nowhere or, oh, he's been acting normal. He's been fine. He's affectionate. We make love all the time. He's been the same. But something just isn't sitting right with me. If something just isn't sitting right with you about that person, regardless of how they're behaving, regardless of how they talk to you and how they court you and all that, you better follow that instinct. You better pray to God. You better pray to God to show you. And if you have to do some snooping around, then you better do some snooping around. You better do some snooping around. Like I said, now I know there are people that are crazy and they're always checking their man's phone and always. I'm not talking to that woman. I'm talking to the woman that is her own world. She's chilling. She's had trust in her husband or her boyfriend. And all of a sudden, one day, that instinct starts to kick in. This is who this video is for. If you've been feeling some type of way lately about your husband, about your boyfriend or your wife, your girlfriend, I'm talking to you. If you're not insecure, if you're not jealous and controlling and all that, I'm talking to you. Listen to your instinct. It will save your life. It will save you from a lot of things. So with that being said, God bless y'all. Have a blessed weekend. I pray that God shows you and confirms to you everything you need to know about the people around you, whether it be your spouse, whether it be your boyfriend, girlfriend, even your children. But I pray That whatever red flags are going off or been going off, and whatever that instinct is that God gave us, that natural instinct that something ain't right here, I pray that you pay attention to it, and I pray that you go to God about it. Whatever you choose to do with the information you get after, that's on you. But I truly hope that people go to God about the people around them, the people they marry. Not just when you meet them, not for the first 2 months, every single day. With that being said, have a blessed day.